You've probably heard that old saying, what we confess is what we possess. It's this idea that our words can literally shape our reality. Well, today, we're diving into one specific confession that promises to do just that and a whole lot more. Let's get into it.
Okay, so right off the bat, we run into this pretty wild gap. Lifeway research found that about 2/3 of Americans are actually open to having a conversation about faith. Think about that. That's a lot of people. But then you look at the other side of the coin, less than half of Christians have actually shared their faith recently. There's a huge disconnect happening here.
So why the quiet? Well, the data gives us some clues. About 22% of Christians say it's fear. Fear of losing a friendship or getting hit with a question they just can't answer. Another 10% just flat out feel like they don't have the right tools for the job. What's really telling is this trend. The number of Christians who feel a personal duty to share their faith, it has plummeted from almost 90% back in 1993 down to just 64% in 2018. That's a massive shift.
So, what's the deal with this disconnect? I mean, really, you've got an audience that's willing to listen on one side, and on the other, a group of potential speakers that has grown increasingly quiet. What is really going on?
Let's just put it plainly. The research seems to be screaming that the world is way more open to these conversations than many believers think. Meanwhile, the church has gotten quieter than it probably should be. So, to bridge this gap, maybe we need a totally fresh perspective on what it means to speak up in the first place.
And that's where this whole idea, the power of confession, really comes into play. We're going to explore how a much deeper understanding of this one concept might just be the key we're looking for, the key to unlocking the silence and closing that gap for good.
Our whole focus is right here, in this one powerful verse from 1 John. It makes an incredible claim that a specific confession that Jesus is the Son of God results in this mind-blowing reality, God living in us and us living in God. Now, this isn't just some nice poetic thought. It's presented as a life-altering truth.
So what does this confession actually do? Well, it basically sparks a total identity shift. It's you acknowledging Jesus' authority over your entire life. It's embracing Him as the one and only source of salvation. It means you're establishing a brand new primary allegiance, one that comes before your job, your politics, even your family. And ultimately, it's a public declaration of a completely new identity, a child of God.
But to really feel the weight of this verse, we've got to go a little deeper. We need to do a bit of digging. Let's unpack two crucial words from the original Greek text that really reveal the true power at play here. So the first word is confesses, which in Greek is homologeo. Now, literally, this means to speak the same thing. But hold on, this isn't just a casual agreement like saying, yep, I agree the sky is blue. In the ancient world, this word carried serious legal weight. It meant you were entering a binding, official agreement, almost like you were testifying in court or signing a treaty. So to confess Jesus is to formally and publicly align your entire life with God's verdict about who His Son is. This is way more than just words. It's a lifelong pact.
The second word is abides, or meno in Greek. This one is all about permanence. It means to remain, to stay, to dwell. This is not about a temporary visit or some fleeting feeling. It describes a permanent, mutual, settled residence. God doesn't just pop in for a visit. He moves in. He unpacks His bags. It's a constant state of being, not just a moment in time.
Now look at how these two ideas lock together. Homologeo, the confession, is you coming into that binding agreement. It's what brings you into the house, so to speak. But meno, abiding, is you staying there. It's what makes it your home. One starts the relationship, the other sustains it. Confession brings you in the door, but abiding is what keeps you home. It's the difference between saying, I prayed a prayer once, and living a life that says, I'm in a covenant and I'm living in it every day.
And this brings us right back to our core idea. When you understand confession as this binding agreement and abiding as a permanent residence, it becomes crystal clear why this act is so incredibly transformative. You confess His name, and you truly will never be the same.
So that's the what. It's powerful, deep stuff. But how does all this theological truth actually help us with the practical problem of silence we started with? Okay, let's move from just understanding to actually doing something.
Remember those fears we mentioned at the beginning? The fear of saying the wrong thing, of ruining a friendship? Look, those are absolutely real. But the promise of this verse is that the God of the entire universe takes up residence in you. That reality is so much bigger than any fear you might have. It has to be.
So let's make this super practical. Here is a simple 6-month challenge. Just focus on one person. Just pray for them by name. Just share one verse or a personal story, just one invitation to church, and just one conversation about what it means to know Jesus. That's it. When you break it down like that, it feels totally achievable, right? It's all about taking small, faithful steps. This line just summarizes the whole idea perfectly. Real, authentic faith isn't a place you visit on the weekends. It's not a temporary hobby. It's a permanent address. Confession is you signing the lease, and abiding is you moving in for good.
So we'll end with this, and it's really a question for all of us to think about. Have you truly entered into that binding agreement with heaven about who Jesus is? And maybe more importantly, are you still living there, day by day? Are you confessing? And are you abiding? Because when you do, you'll discover you have something to say, and you'll find the courage to actually say it.